Hello and welcome to Opening Bars. Wikipedia says that A Sky Full of Stars is Coldplay's first dance track, listed as EDM with house influences. The band co-wrote and co-produced the song with the late Avicii and received production assistance from Paul Epworth, Daniel Green, and Rick Simpson. It was recorded at the Bakery and the Beehive in North London, England. It is in fact Avicii, not Chris Martin, who is actually playing the keys on this track of the album. Let's look at these opening bars. Well, I think the star of the show is the rhythm, but the harmony has some interesting movement of its own, especially the first two measures. Let's take a look. We are notating this excerpt with a treble G clef for the right hand and a bass F clef with a sub 8 indicator, meaning we will play the notes in the left hand down an octave. There are 6 flats, which means we are likely either in G flat major or E flat minor. The time signature is 4/4. To begin, we have a G flat major triad in first inversion, atop an E flat in the left hand. The aggregate of these notes, the E flat, G flat, B flat, and D flat, comprise an E flat minor 7 chord. The next chord in this first bar is slightly unusual. Note how we have what looks like an A flat minor 11, where the missing fifth, the E flat, could be said to continue to resonate in the ear from the chord before, but it sits above a D flat in the bass. Well, if we again aggregate these notes, what chord does that make exactly? Well, if we consider the D flat as the root of a 7 chord, D flat, F, A flat, and C flat, that would work. And the G flat would be a suspension where we'd expect it to fall to the F. So it could be a D flat 7 sus 4. Only as we see, it doesn't actually resolve in the next bar. But I still feel personally that it's the best choice, especially since I consider it as a kind of secondary dominant to the 3 chord in measure 3. The next measure again looks odd, a G flat major triad in second inversion over a C flat. So, adding up all of the notes, we have the outline of a C flat triad with no third, and the B flat as a major 7th above, and the D flat as the added 9th. We can label it a C flat major 9, sus 2. This chord can also be seen as a kind of turnaround cadence, except it doesn't go back to 1, it goes back to the relative major. I guess we might call it an unwinding then, where the 4 chord is used as a kind of passing chord to get from the 5 to the 1, or in this case, the 3. Okay, so here we are in measure 3, G flat all the way through, moving to a D flat triad in second inversion over a B flat in measure 4. Aggregating all of the notes, we have a B flat, D flat, F, and A flat, which gives us B flat minor 7, which is actually the dominant 5 chord in the minor to our initial chord, E flat minor. Let's look at the rhythm. It's interesting here to see that each of beats 1 and 2 of each measure is the same, but beats 3 and 4 are different each time. The most defining rhythm is this syncopation that begins each measure, which sounds distinctly as two dotted eighth notes and a pair of tied eighths. If we count them in sixteenths, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there are 4 differing patterns which are tied over to start from beat 2. We have in measure 1 a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. In measure 2 a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. In measure 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in measure 4, a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's put that all together now with a metronome counting off the sixteenths. As we have talked about in other lessons, break the rhythms down into their smallest, most comfortable common denominator, and count them out slowly before bringing up to speed. Spend the time to slowly build them up foundationally, which will serve to strengthen your craft and enhance your artistry. You can add style later, but at least get a grip on foundational rhythmic precision first. There's nothing fancy in the left hand. It serves a harmonic support function to begin and mimics the syncopated rhythms in measures 3 and 4. And there's really nothing I want to say about technique, and no offense to Coldplay. It's the rhythm that matters here. So strike those chords together and be evenly balanced to let the sonorities ring true. As for enrichment, I would look at this score sample and imagine that the key signature of 6 flats does not exist. Imagine it with 1 sharp instead. Play it through. This is a very simple technique for transposing up from a flat key signature, especially from ones with 6 or 7 flats. What is far more difficult, and something you should also try, is transposing down a semitone. This is trickier because the note names themselves are now different. The G flat no longer simply becomes a G, it becomes an F. To do this, I would use a different technique. First, I would look at the left hand and observe the pattern. Start on a D, move down a tone, move down a tone, plagal cadence down a fourth to the F, then up a major third, resolving back to the tonic. I'd keep my left hand in a fairly fixed position and concentrate on the relative movement, not trying to figure out individual notes as I go. I'd do much the same for the right hand, concentrating on the entirety of the chords, not the individual notes, which really is too many things to figure out at one time. So I'd start on an F major triad in first inversion, G minor 7 with the sus4 in first inversion. I'd also notice that 2 of the notes remain from the previous chord, in this case, the F and C. Also note that the 2 upper notes are a tone apart, as are the bottom 2. That may help as well. Remember, we are now in D minor, so use a B flat. Then we move to the relative major chord in second inversion, and end with a flat 7 over 5, employing the little interval skips. Then I put them together in my mind and play them. These These are fantastic musicianship skills to pursue, and it may seem hard at first, but persevere. Develop and practice strategies until they become comfortable habits of mind. I hope you enjoyed your lesson today. Remember, don't just play notes. Make music. Until next time, thanks for listening.